Welcome to the FHA Software video training series. This is Dwayne Tinsley with Simply Computer Software. With this video, we're going to look at the rural development related features that are provided with your FHA software program. So let's get started. So I'm clicking on the icon. I enter my ID and password. Up pops the main window. RD. So we're going to look at the RD pull down, which is basically any and everything that deals with rural development data entry and or reporting. And so it starts off with the tenant certification data, and when you go in there you can see a list of all your tenants and the main tenant certification entry window. Now we've got video training series that are more detailed in doing certs and things like that, so I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty step-by-steps with this video. But there are other videos that will help with the step-by-steps of entering your certification data. But this is where you will spend 95% of your time entering tenant changes, is your tenant certification window. Next one, notice of payment due, and that's basically your project worksheet. So you can print your project worksheet, and so we're looking at September. So apples to apples comparison with what's going to be on Mink. This is the project worksheet, and it should be exactly what's in Mink, because it starts in FHA software and you upload the information to Mink, and when you approve your project worksheets, they should match. So that's part 2. You can print part 1 as well. You can also do your project worksheets in multi-property mode and generate what's called a consolidated payment summary. So not to the printer, we'll do it to the screen. And so basically this would be a summary of all your RD projects that you can use to compare with what you're approving on Mink as far as your project worksheets. Okay, so basically that's what that. It's a very good feature to help with. Reviewing project worksheet history, and so for rural development, this would be a list of all your project worksheets that you've ever printed, and you can view the detail of what's on your project worksheets. You can also post your project worksheets to the accounting feature. So when you approve them and you've matched, your project worksheet matches what you've approved on Mink, you can simply come in here and post your project worksheets to the accounting, and now your accounting has your project worksheet recorded. So that's a neat feature there. And then reviewing changes to tenant assistance. Every single tenant change you've ever processed will be listed here. You can view the status of the change. Have you activated? Has it been sent to, or uploaded to Mink? Lots of reporting information available here that checks on the status of your tenant change processing. Assigning rental assistance. So we have a feature that does that. It will provide a summary of how you're going to assign the rental assistance, when it becomes available. So it's a neat report that helps assign your rental assistance. We have your handbook, and so what we do is we just grab the PDF files right off of Mink's website whenever they change, and therefore you always have the latest and greatest handbook information. And then you can use that here. It's a lot easier to locate things from the handbook by using the PDF reader and search for things than it is to thumb through about 400 or 500 pages. And so we always have your handbooks that's easily accessible. RD Mink file submissions. So any and everything that has to do with electronic submission or electronic files with the Mink system is in this feature. So you can view all your tenant transactions. Those are the files that you would submit to, or upload to Mink. So this is the feature that allows you to create either one project at a time or all your projects at the same time. The XML files that are uploaded to the Mink system. So very simple menu-driven process for doing that. Your budget allows you to see the budget files that you've created, and we'll look at that in a minute from the financial reports feature. But your budgets, you've got also the XML. So our program, these conversion utilities, we can convert tenant changes from XML or EDI files that are created by your software vendor. So if you're switching software or thinking about switching, we have a built-in feature that basically will automatically import tenant changes that your software vendor can put in an XML file, and it imports them with just a couple mouse clicks, and then you've got all the tenant certs that your previous software has, so you don't have to upload and add all your certifications over again. We have a feature that does that. It's provided with the software. It's free. So very simple process. Your projects can be converted into FHA software in a matter of hours, not days or weeks. So it's a very good feature. Unit number conversion utility. That's a feature where your unit numbering, if you've got RD, HUD, and tax credit, you electronically submit to all three. The unit numbering that's in RD, HUD, or tax credit may not be the same. And so our program has a utility that will always make sure that when you're submitting to RD, that your unit numbers match what's in the Mink system. So we've also provide Mink error message references. These are documentations that are provided to us as software vendors. You don't necessarily are allowed to see these things as just a borrower or whatever. So we provide you some of the information that we get as software vendors, and this one is error conditions and things like that. When you submit or upload to Mink and you get messages back that say there's something right or wrong or whatever, these are the documents that explain what they mean and how to correct them. And so we provide them as well. Frequently asked questions, different scenarios on trying to do things in the Mink system or submit to Mink or whatever. We provide these to you, and so it just helps with the process. You can log in directly from our program to Mink's login website. You can go right there if you're going to approve project worksheets or review pre-release worksheets or whatever. So we provide a link to the website itself, because sometimes it changes. Financial reports. So we of course have the project budget, and we'll look at that real quick. So we'll pull up, you have a window where you can save, you can load previously saved budgets or actual reports, and you can create from scratch. So we'll just look at that real quick here. So this is the main window that will come up where you can work with your budget in the program. Save it, come back to it. When you're ready to electronically submit your budget, you would save your file and say, yes, I want to create an XML file, submit it, and basically it's done. You would then log in to the Mink system and upload your files. So it's a very good feature where, when you use fill a form on Mink, you got to fill the whole thing out, or not at all. It doesn't allow you to come back and resume. And so financial reports, so the project budget. Borrower balance sheet is pretty much the same thing. So you can save, you can load all the balance sheets that you've had, work with them, and then when you're done with it, you can create an XML file and submit it electronically by uploading it to the RD website. We also have the reserve authorization quest. Now that's not electronically submitted yet, but it will in the future. But basically, any authorization that you need to submit to use reserve funds, we have a feature here that generates the form that you can submit and get approval. And then this keeps track of your approval, so you're able to do reports and things like that based on your reserve activity. So that's kind of neat. We've got the RD chart of accounts. So we provide the RD chart of accounts that basically is every item that's on the project budget and or balance sheet. You can add to it, you can copy them from project to project, but we do provide an RD chart of accounts with numbers that correspond to standard accounting numbering. And so kind of a neat feature. The RD chart of account associations. So basically this is a feature that tells our system where we're pulling dollar amounts to be inserted into the budget and balance sheet automatically for you. So like income, so rental income, account 5120 is the income account for rental income in your chart of accounts. That it knows where to pull the amounts when inserting that into your project budget. And likewise, so you've got all the categories on both the budget and the balance sheet here, and you identify. So when you're doing a project budget, you're basically just giving the form a name. Okay, so you just go into the thing, give it a name or a date, and boom, it just pulls all the dollar amounts, fills out the form. You're done. You don't have to hunt and gather and figure out where the dollar amounts go. When you do your project budget, it's automatically done. And again, we've got other training series videos that provide the detail on how to do your budget. So bank balance summary. So we have a bank balance summary feature, RHS demo, retrieve the bank balance info, boom, you've got your balances. If you've got multi-properties that are RD, you click on multi-property, retrieve the bank balance information, and for every single project you have, you've got a snapshot of what your current cash, other tax and insurance reserve, security deposit balances are. You can print the summary and use that when you're determining if you have enough money to write checks or whatever, but it's a good report to show financial activity for each of your RD projects. And then we've got a management fee calculation feature. And this automatically, so you pick a month and or a project, and basically this will calculate your management fees based on one of two things, based on either occupied units or based on a percentage of rent collected. And occupied units, it can be based on occupancy as of the first day of the month, or occupied units any day of the month. Then you've got all the other revenue producing unit, manager unit considerations and add-ons and things like that. So management fee calculation, neat feature, and it makes sure that you're doing your management fee correctly and you're getting the correct amount. And so that's basically from the RD pull down. The other features that we'll get into in more detail in other training video series, but basically that's the main RD specific. But of course all these reports pertain to rural development. The accounting, of course, pertains to rural development. Data, we've got waiting list as it pertains to rural development. So you can print a waiting list with a report that is specifically for rural development waiting list compliance, in addition to all the other selection criteria. And we've got other videos that'll go into more detail with that. So waiting list. Your letters, your custom letters. We got a dashboard, of course. We'll get into detail on that. But again, as it pertains to your rural development property, how am I doing? And you can see it all on one screen. But anyway, that basically is rural development features. And again, we've got other video training series that go into more step-by-step detail. But hopefully this has been helpful and more informative for you. Please monitor our video training series page for more FHA software related feature details. And once again, we appreciate your interest in FHA software. Thanks again.